With Cody Rhodes addressing The Rock potentially being at WrestleMania 40 and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Talking about The Rock potentially running for president of the United States, Kurt Angle said this on his podcast. Yeah, I feel badly for him. Even if he did run for office, what side is he going to do? He's screwed either way. Run independent and come up with your own concepts. Going over his final farewell at Survivor Series in 2020, The Undertaker recalled a disagreement he had with Vince McMahon, saying on his 6 Feet Under podcast in November, "That was one of those times where Vince and I butted heads. My retirement. He wouldn't let me say retirement. It's time for The Undertaker to rest in peace. In full character. I have these guys all in the ring, but I'm going to be in my full character." It was like, yuck. Going over a change to an upcoming match in AEW due to injury, Ringside News wrote that Paul White is set to team up with Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, and Kota Ibushi for the Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, street fight, scheduled for next week's AEW on TBS broadcast. In the latest live episode of AEW Rampage on TNT, it was revealed that Don Callis had a discussion with Prince Nana, resulting in the Machine Brian Cage becoming the latest member to join the Don Callis family squad. This team now includes Powerhouse Hobbs, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher from Aussie Open. Sean Sapp noted behind Fightful's paywall that Brian Cage was not originally planned to join that big match coming up. Sammy Guevara was supposed to be in the match, but plans had to change due to his concussion. Sammy Guevara was originally planned for the street fight, but Brian Cage replaced him. We're told that an original name for the match was the Final Boss Battle Street Fight. As he returned to the ring earlier this month, Apollo Crews went on Instagram to address his previous absence, writing, "Had a little injury that kept me out for a few months. Felt great being back in the ring." Recalling advice that Vince McMahon gave her in WWE, Mandy Rose revealed on Busted Open Radio, "There was a meeting with Vince. I remember, I will say, there was a meeting, and he had told me that he loves my character, what I'm doing and all, but just be more me. I remember that was like the one thing. I felt like there was a part of me where I was maybe trying too hard to be that sexy character in a way." Teasing a move back to NXT, Bianca Belair said this on Casual Conversations. "So when I saw her, Becky Lynch, get that title, I was like, I know that was a check mark for her. Even though she's gone to do great things, that was always something she wanted to check off her list. I'm like, I feel her because I feel the same way. So yes, I can see one day trying to go and mark that off my accomplishment list because I was never able to do that." Recalling a conversation he had with Triple H after winning the United States title, Logan Paul said this on Jake Paul's YouTube channel. "I swear Triple H, he came up to me and he said, 'Logan, congratulations on the belt. One thing we've really been cautious about here in the organization is making sure our athletes are not effing in their belts.' And I gave him my word." For that same interview with his brother, Logan Paul said this about potential future challengers in WWE. "Listen, bro, whoever wants it, whoever wants it. If it's Roman, if it's Cody, if it's LA Knight, I don't give a I'll take on both the Usos at once. I don't give a damn. Solo? Bro, my whole life I've been solo, minus right now with Jake and all the times before that." Asked about stealing protein bars from Vince McMahon, former WWE star Stevie Richards said on Renee Dupree's podcast, 100% true. I actually got on the BWO network. We took over WWE network and it never aired. But I grabbed the phone in the control room and I said, hey, can you bring down a case of Vince's protein bars? Then Joey hung up the phone. Yeah, we used to sneak into Vince's office and steal his filet mignon and protein bars and seal his ISO pure because we would throw it out anyway. On the After the Bell podcast, Bobby Lashley said this about his son being in amateur wrestling and pushing him to reach his potential. I don't mind keeping that bar really high for him. This is what we need as kids. That's what kids need. If they don't have that bar, then they just kind of float. Lashley added, if I left WWE for anything else, I'd be a high school wrestling coach. That would be a dream for me, and I'm really excited about it. I actually spoke to Coach yesterday because it was a first day of practice. Coach was like, we'd love to have you. Come on in. So yes, I'll be coaching amateur wrestling. When it comes to adding more members to his current faction with the Street Profits in WWE, Bobby Lashley mentioned this regarding B-Fab during that same interview. She's a very intelligent woman. She's a very interesting woman. That's what I have to say about that. Since I've come together with the Street Profits, a lot of people have hit me up on social media, or they've just walked up to me at the show and trying to say, hey man, I'd love to join your group or see what you guys have. Of course, we are open to hearing any suggestions. We did toy around with having a female join the group, and I've heard some different suggestions on that also. BFAB did come with something that was very interesting. I'm not quite sure we're going to work with her, but right now, what she did present to me last week was very interesting, and I want to see if that can manifest into anything. Speaking about his role in the Iron Claw movie, which revolves around the Von Erich family, MJF wrote on X, 27 years old, executive producer for an A24 movie and a masterpiece by Sean Durkin. Proud is an understatement. However, I don't have time to celebrate. I'm a man on an island surrounded by the enemy, and November 18th will be my hardest obstacle yet. Let's go. Hashtag better than you. Sticking with MJF, this was said about the reason why he may have changed his character, as Teddy Long told Wrestle Binge. I don't agree with him toning down because of WWE. I think he has to tone down because those sponsors and other people like that, you know what I mean? They don't understand about wrestling and they really don't care. All they know is that they got a lot of money in advertising and then they got kids watching the show too, so you just have to be careful what you say now. It's different now, so that's why I think he's toning it down. With this being the day that Eddie Guerrero passed away, Rey Mysterio paid tribute to him, writing on Instagram, 18 years ago today after your passing, and will forever continue to love you, miss you, and honor your memory. I've imagined so many times over and over how incredible it would be seeing you by Dominic's side in the present moment, but completely satisfied that he was by your side in 2005 before you left us is a true blessing. Love and miss you. Following his surprising release from WWE, Dolph Ziggler took to a stage with his brother for a Q&A session. Here's the clip.
I want to know, do either of you have a favorite Bella?
Oh. A favorite what?
Bella.
Oh, portobello mushrooms? Yeah, Bella, like the sisters?
Yes!
They've both always been very good to me. Well said. Who's next?
Addressing the possibility of The Rock being a part of WrestleMania 40, Cody Rhodes told Busted Open Radio, "Nobody has asked me about The Rock. I think they're scared to ask me or they don't want to be rude. I'll say this about The Rock. Coming on Pat's show, The Pat McAfee Show, which I was watching live because I love Pat and then SmackDown, The Rock did for sports entertainment so much and continues to do so much by being the biggest star in Hollywood that I'm able to be at the level that I'm at because I can stand on shoulders like those of The Rock's. He could have come on there and run me down and I would still have the highest respect for the great one. He's honestly a model superstar for anyone who wants to supersede expectations." With that said, no matter what he said, anyone who asked me or confronted me on it, I'm not flinching. I feel if The Rock and I were in the same room, he would expect nothing less from me. If you think it's somebody else, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure you know it's me. That's the same attitude The Rock had when he was climbing the ladder. I don't care who it is. If that happens to be The Rock, if it happens to be anybody, a wonderful superstar like LA Knight, a stellar performer like Sami Zayn, line them up and I'm going to do everything I can to outrun them. I mean that with the utmost respect. I wasn't shook at all by Rock's big day out. What I would say is not flinching. If Rock is part of WrestleMania 40, that would be outstanding. It's The Rock, but I don't think he'll be in my spot. It would be added that Ringside News previously reported that WWE has a plan in place for WrestleMania's main event. It turns out that they have more than just one match slotted into the showcase of the Immortals. Ringside News reached out to a tenured member of the creative team to confirm WWE's plans for WrestleMania. We were told that the main event matches for both nights of WrestleMania 40 are decided. The women's title matches are also decided. Ringside News was told by a tenured member of the creative team that things can change, and that's something to note, but Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes has always been the obvious direction for WrestleMania 40. It was also noted that this has been the theory since before their match at WrestleMania 39. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.